Hey YouTube, Matty's8012 here at the Indianapolis Regional with Robbie MKohl40 Kohl. And you guys remember not too long ago we were doing the Power Nine discussions, and I'm going to get Robbie's opinion on this. The Power Nine from Magic the Gathering, of course, the Moxes and Time Warp and all this overpowered stuff from the early sets. You know, overpriced. What do you think? Is there a YuGiOh Power Nine?
Alright, so by definition, for what the Power Nine is, they're powerful cards. If I recall right, one or two of them are a little bit not as good as the others, but it got looped in there.
Yeah.
As for Power 9, the YuGiOh equivalent, I feel would be the 7 Shonen Joe prize cards. Looking at Cyberstein, Stein did dictate when it first came out. It was like 30 grand, I believe, one of the first ones sold for. I don't think the guy actually paid. But it was playable for what it was during its era. Des Volscow was one of the lesser played ones. It was just kind of played off as like the retard of the group. Shrink, I remember Don's Luke,
Yes.
Troll,
Yes.
when some guy, there was a doctor, I believe, in a SJC, had 2 to 3 Shrinks, and he was playing a deck that was just taking everybody off guard. I mean, the prize cards at their own times of release affected the game in such an astonishing amount. It was cards that, were worth a lot, and they gave you an edge. And I think that's kind of what the Power 9 did, but for Yu-Gi-Oh, the cards are legal before other people get them mass released. So by that definition, next up is Crush Card. Crush Card, so overpowering. Sanguine, Crush Card, get the free search, just destroy your opponent. And in a format where only like 10 people have Crush Card, not so fair.
Yeah.
Next up is Volt Sarcophagus. Once again, in a format, with Crush Card, you can just start the Crush out. So once again, prize cards combining it. Doom Caliber was another personal favorite of mine.
I'll agree.
Doom Caliber in Teledad format was very overpowered as well. Yes, you're playing against things like Teledad, but a 1900 beater that can just negate anything at will is pretty good. And then Dark End, he didn't really affect things too much when he came out, but he was one of those cards that did give you an edge as well as the other 7. But by definition, for the price, when the cards were out and the effect that they had on the game, I'd say that they probably were the equivalent of the Power 9.
Now, I had several people, we were doing different suggestions and everything. I got a stack here. Everybody's been going through this stack. Is there anything in this stack? These were all the cards that were suggested. Forceful Sentry, Delinquent Duo, Pot of Greed, Chaos Emperor Dragon. Is there anything in there that you would consider on power level with like the Power 9 cards from Magic?
Now, by definition of what we've done so far for Power 9, you have to keep in mind these would have to be cards that aren't really widely released to people. Now, things like Pot of Greed, say if they made a prize card equivalent to this, and you win the play turn 1, you get to draw the additional card. Honestly, like, if this wasn't mass released, everybody, yes, Power 9. Same thing with Chaos Emperor Dragon, same thing with Raigeki. Like, all of these cards are, maybe not this. I've been debating if Yada can come back. I mean, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, Yada lock, but it's 200. What cards in the game right now can force you to get your opponent into top decking mode besides Exciton Knight or Excite Knight, things like that, which possibly. Confiscation's too good. This needs to come back. This game sucks with a Heavy Storm.
Heavy Storm.
Same thing with Monster Reborn. This is definitely power level 9. Any card in the game that says screw you for multiple turns.
No to everything.
This should be back right now.
Snatch Steal. You think?
Triple MST, triple Full House. I mean, there's enough stuff in the game that just nullifies this.
That's fair.
Honestly, like,
I mean, honestly, of all the cards that people have talked about, that's one of the very few that people have talked about should come back.
It should come back just because of that. I mean, this would force Breaker the Magical Warrior to be played again. I mean, this was the sole reason back in the day why Breaker was good. Plus, a Snatch Steal, and a Snatch Steal is the most hilarious thing ever. This is Power 9 for sure. That and Pot of Greed. Both of these cards influence bad game mechanics. But as for things that could come back, I mean, I don't physically see any problem with these. I mean, Yada with Excaton Knight, like I said, is troublesome. I hate that card.
Yeah.
This can't come back. If they made a way for this not to tie games, this could come back. It's one of the best chainable cards in the game. D-Monk can't come back. Kevin Torrey hates this card, too many rulings on it. This is a worse version of this. This can't come back, too overpowered. If I have 100 of these, I'm never going to get my chance.
Yeah.
And this could come back. Dark World Lost Morphing Jar. But outside of that, I mean, these are the available things that can come back. There are power level 9 things in here, like this, Pot of Greed. But I mean, outside of the Crush card and, you know, the prize cards, I'd consider them the Power 9 equivalents.
The 7 prize cards.
Mm-hmm.
Is this influenced strictly by price? I mean, as far as like the discs?
It's influenced by their playability as to when they were released and the influence that they had on the game during that time.
So then would it be fair to say that it's a Power 5 instead of 7?
It'll be a Power 7. Well, Dark End did influence the game a little bit. I know somebody tried to do something with that Volscout. I think one guy did. But realistically, though, I would say that.
Say that? Fair enough. I appreciate it, man. Subscribe, comment down below. Make sure you go over here and subscribe to this guy. He can use a couple. Appreciate it, guys. So much you love it.